This man tied the rope to a piton. Then he started lowering himself down the cliff. He let the rope slide slowly through his hands. Finally he got close to the rescue team, but suddenly the knot jammed in the carabiner. He pulled with all his strength, but it stayed stuck. Now he was hanging helpless in midair. The rescuers were just a few feet below, but those few feet meant he could not be saved. His name was Tony, a mountain climber. He and his brother Andy answered the Nazi call. They wanted to climb the north face of the Eiger before the Olympics. The peak was only 3,000 meters high, but its wall rose almost straight at 80 degrees. Countless climbers had died here. The brothers set out at night to be the first to reach the top. They carried only light food and a few supplies. Soon they faced their first big obstacle, a wall with no holes at all. They had left their crampons at home to stay light. Even pitons would not bite into the rock, so Andy decided to swing across and open a path. At 3,000 meters he dangled on a single rope. One slip would mean instant death. Finally he caught a ledge with his hands. Then he pulled Tony across with the rope. Tony wanted to leave the rope behind as backup, but Andy insisted they would reach the top without retreat, so they burned their only way back. At 3,200 meters night fell. They camped on the wall to save energy. Next morning they woke up to heavy snow and thick fog. They still pushed on toward the summit, but they were moving painfully slow. 5 hours for only a few hundred meters. Then they found two Austrian climbers stuck on the wall. One had a broken leg and could not move. The brothers had to choose: keep climbing or help them down. They chose to help them retreat, but carrying a helpless man at this height was insane. The blizzard grew stronger by the hour. Finally they reached the spot where they had crossed the wall. Andy cursed himself for pulling back the rope. Tony held the line with frostbitten hands. Andy tried to swing across again, but this time he failed. Then suddenly an avalanche roared down the wall. Andy was swept away instantly. The Austrian hit his head and died on the spot. Even the pitons started pulling loose. Tony screamed for Andy to climb back, but Andy cut the rope to save his brother. He vanished into the abyss below. Tony could not even grieve. His own life was hanging by a thread. He pulled out his sleeping bag to wait for rescue on the wall, but a fierce wind ripped it from his hands. His last gear disappeared into the void. He broke down in despair, but somehow he survived the night. Next morning the sky cleared. The rescue team finally arrived. That was the scene at the start. Tony's body was frozen and broken. He never pushed the knot through the carabiner, and he died hanging just meters away from safety.